Hello folks, it's Aviator Joe here, and I'm finally starting to allow myself to feel the excitement of receiving my brand new plane. I mean, let's face it, Aeroprakt is manufacturing this in a country that is at war. The plane had to travel from Kiev, through Poland, get loaded on a container ship, sail to New Orleans, and then make its way to Central Ohio. Not to mention dealing with all the configuration and option changes flowing from myself to Heavenbound to Aeroprakt and back. Will all the options be correct? Will it be in one piece? On November 29th, Santa arrived, not in a sled, but in a semi-truck pulled by 8 cylinders. At least the container looked like it was in one piece. And certainly no one has opened it up, as we can see Andy Humphrey grinding off whatever lock is on this thing. And there it is, in all its fire engine red splendor. It looks good so far, but now comes the somewhat indelicate task of extracting my brand new shiny plane out of its metal cocoon. While nerve-wracking to watch, it was offloaded with no issues. All that's left is to get it back into the hangar.
I'm a diehard. All my family is King, Pennsylvania. Eastport, Pennsylvania. So I'm a diehard Steelers fan.
And there it is. I was really happy with how well it was packed. I came back less than a week later and found quite a bit of the assembly had been done. The wings and struts were installed, as was the horizontal stabilizer. The rudder cables and elevator pushrod were ready to be connected to their control surfaces. The cabin was being prepped, which meant that the seats were out, giving me a great view of the battery, brake line, and pitot-static lines. On the passenger side, there were the right brake lines, the dual fuel pump assembly, and associated fuel lines. I am happy to report that my control panel was exactly as I ordered it, with a Dynon HDX Skyview as the centerpiece. So was my control stick with its electric pitch trim and autopilot disconnect buttons. In the back, you can see the Dynon air data unit taking the air lines as input and sending the digital signals out. The yellow assembly is the RTX 34 406 MHz electronic locator beacon. Right in front of that is the Magnum 601 ballistic recovery chute. The only issue was some damage to one of the external brake lines, and that was easily replaced as shown in the picture taken 2 days later. The rudder and elevator were now installed, and my Tundra tires were also being installed. The cowling was off, so I got a chance to take a look at the amazing and beautiful Rotax 912LS fuel-injected engine. 4 days later, the wheels were all on, the seats installed, and my avionics software was updated. The airworthiness inspection was completed on the 11th of January. After it was inspected, I popped over for a look at the finished plane, complete with all of the graphic and registration decals applied. So, about the name. At a top speed of 90 knots, the A-22LS is hardly an X-15, but after flying in my Quicksilver at a top speed of 35 knots, it seems like a rocket to me. The plan was for me to fly the Little Red Rocket to Harry Cleaver Field in New Philadelphia, Ohio, to get the transponders certified by the FBO ProAv. Unfortunately, the weather delayed that for almost 2 weeks. Finally, the weather looked reasonable, if not great, So I got in the little red rocket, and Andy got in the Powerpuff plane, and we flew to New Philadelphia. I hadn't flown for 2.5 months, but I was very happy with my landing. Unfortunately, I was nervous enough to forget to turn on the camera. Once the certification was complete, I had to decide whether to fly back to Heaven Bound or to fly the A-22 to its new forever home at Mansfield-Lahm Airport. As you can see, I was bouncing around quite a bit. We had a tailwind getting to New Philadelphia, so the flight back was going to be long. I tried climbing to get above the turbulence, but the winds aloft were pushing 40 knots. At one point, I had a ground speed of 35 knots. I just dealt with the turbulence. It took a good 90 minutes to cover what should have been 50 minutes. Finally, I was cleared for left base to runway 23 at Mansfield and was really very happy about the landing. Unfortunately, the battery ran out, so no video again. My wife Laura was waiting for me at the FBO, and we parked the little red rocket in the hangar where it awaits its next mission. So I was promised a plane in 6 months, and even with weather and paperwork issues, I got it in less than 7. Better than some other manufacturers I've dealt with. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to help me build the channel. Right now I'm working on a video that goes over all the options I ordered and my logic behind my panel layout. Until then, happy landings.